Of Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control, and joining me as my animal wrangler is our volunteer coordinator, Sean Snyder. And as we mentioned in our last episode, we have a lot of dogs on our adoption floor. One of them recently went home, but then we added 2 more, so we're still at about 24 adoptable dogs. So we're going to be featuring a lot of dogs on today's show, and the first one is Magic, and he's probably our biggest pit bull right now at coming in just under 80 pounds, but don't let his size fool you. He is a gentle giant. He loves attention. He leans in. He really loves all of the pets and the rubs. He takes treats pretty nicely. He's just a handsome guy. He seems to do well with the other dogs on the adoption floor. Outside of the cages, inside they can be a little grumbly, which is not uncommon. And I recently learned that he's very interested in the chicken that we have out in our coop. So if you have chickens running on your property, maybe not the best to add Magic to your household. But his behavior assessment is fairly good, but because of his large size and just the fact that he's still a young dog at about a year old, you do want to make sure that you're prepared to treat him as a puppy and train him as such. He still needs to learn some of those, canine good citizen manners and things like that.
We often get asked the question, why do you have so many pit bulls? Are there a lot of pit bulls on the adoption floor right now?
So it's important for people to realize that the animals that we get in our facility are reflective of what people in the community own. We don't go and bring dogs to our facility. We're funded by tax dollars. So we get what people are surrendering to us or what we're finding as strays. So the pit bulls on our floor are reflective of what people in the community own. Right now, with about 24 dogs on the floor, we have 10 adoptable pit bulls right now. So they're not even making up half of the adoptable dogs, although most of them right now look fairly similar to Magic. They all have that tan fawn look to them, which is hard to set necessarily for them to stand out. But we don't have a ton of pit bulls right now in the grand scheme of things. We have a lot of other breeds if you are looking for those things. I personally am a huge pit bull fan. I love them. They are a great dog to have. You don't always want to buy into all of the stereotypes, but it is important to realize that there are different restrictions for the types of dogs that you can have, in especially rental properties. So if you rent, whether it's an apartment or it's a home, make sure that you check in with your landlord and make sure what you're allowed to have before you come in and fall in love with one of these guys, because we will follow up on all of that stuff to make sure that you are allowed to have the animals in your home. But Magic is a sweet guy. Magic is his name, so he does respond to that very nicely. He knows sit. He takes treats pretty well. Again, he pulls a little bit on leash, so just a little bit of polite leash walking training would go a long way for him. But he's going to be a great addition to a household. If you are interested in Magic, you can make an appointment to visit with him by going to visitfcac.as.me.